Hey guys, today we're looking at a guide to Dhelmise in the VGC18 meta. First of all, Dhelmise is a Pokemon that you'll be running under Trick Room because it has such a good low speed that it'll be outspeeding a lot of things, right? It won't outspeed like Snorlax and Amoonguss, say, under Trick Room, but it'll outspeed most things. It also has good physical offense, so it does a lot of damage with like really strong moves as well. Okay, so the first set we're going to look at is Assault Vest, with the moves Power Whip and Shadow Claw, which are normally going to be your stable stabs, which pretty much every Dhelmise will have. And there's also Heavy Slam. You can run Anchor Shot if you do want the ability to trap your enemy's Pokemon in, which is a good strategy because then you can then switch in to deal with that Pokemon that Dhelmise might not be able to like especially deal with. Like say they have a Ferrothorn out and you want to Anchor Shot it so it can't escape, then you can deal with it by switching in like say a fire type or a Pokemon with a fire or fighting move that can just deal with it quickly. But Heavy Slam, I think it does more damage to a larger range of Pokemon, which is why I think it is better to run, just for mainly damage output. And lastly there's Rock Slide, and that's because Dhelmise's biggest counter is Mega Charizard Y, so having the Rock Slide is good for just taking it out. Right, so when you have your Trick Room up, you can just Rock Slide and take it out. So it's really good. The EVs are 94 HP, 252 attack, and 162 special defense with a Brave Nature to minimize your speed and amplify your attack, so you're doing as much damage as possible without having a damage amplifier. Now, if we look at the calculations for this, let's first look at Mega Charizard Y. So we can see in Sun, Heat Wave does 91 to 108%, which is a 50% chance of one hit KO. So say you haven't got your Trick Room up and it goes for Heat Wave, you do have a 50% chance of surviving, so you can retaliate with a Rock Slide. However, say Sun's worn off or something, Heat Wave is a 2-hit KO, it can't 1-hit KO. So then you can just return a Rock Slide. This is all in the assumption that Trick Room isn't up. If Trick Room is up, then you can just get a Rock Slide off. But say you miss Rock Slide, then next turn, like if Sun's not up or something, then you have another turn to do it. And especially if you're running in Rain, Heat Wave becomes a 22.5% chance to 3-hit KO. So it does even less damage. And given Dhelmise's grass typing, it is an idea to run Dhelmise on a Rain team with a Trick Room function in it. That is like a method of running Dhelmise with this set. Another popular VGC18 Pokemon to look at is Landorus. So you see knockoff here does a max of 99.3, which rounds down to max 99% damage, so it's not a one-hit KO. Likewise, Dhelmise doesn't return with a one-hit KO, but we can see a Power Whip doing a max of 60.3%. So if you're running another offensive Pokemon, you can double into that Landorus slot for the KO, whereas Landorus won't be able to knock out your Dhelmise. So that is pretty good as well. Another popular Pokemon, Finny. This is a very popular Carmine Finny set. As we see here, Moonblast is a guaranteed 4-hit KO. When in return, Power Up does 106 to 124, so that's a definite 1-hit KO, given this defensive EVs and everything. So as Power Whip does have the chance to miss, you have plenty of chances to keep using it until Finny can take it out. And let's say it gets to +1, Moonblast only becomes then a 3-hit KO, and say it's maybe a +2 at this time, as a guaranteed 2-hit KO. So if you're under Trick Room and you miss your first Power Whip, Moonblast still will only do just over half, so then you can go for another Power Whip and try to get it off that time. So that's also pretty good. Now we'll look at Lele. We'll look at the VGC Psychium Z set, because it has this 252 EVs in special attack and the modest, so it's doing max special damage. As we see here, Psychic does just over 50%, so that's a 2-hit KO where a Heavy Slam that just annihilates it. And if we look at the Shattered Psyche, you have a 90% chance of hanging on, which you really shouldn't like play in the mindset that you could survive on that percent chance. So you really do want to have your Trick Room up, just in case the Lele is carrying the Psychium Z. And let's also just look at Zapdos. As we see here, Rock Slide does just under 50%. We haven't got a damage amplifier, so with an Assault Vest, this is the max damage you're going to get off, which is now round up to a max of 50%. So you can possibly take care of Zapdos quickly, just depending on the Rock Slide misses or anything, because as we see here, Heat Wave has a pretty much 100%, nearly 100% chance of free hit KO, so it has a good chance of knocking out after a few turns. But Rock Slide just does more damage, so if you get another turn of damage off on Zapdos, then maybe 2 Rock Slides and the previous turn of damage will take care of it. Alright, let's look at another set. This is the Z Crystal Dhelmise set with Power Whip, Shadow Claw, Heavy Slam, and you give up the Rock Slide for Protect. That's because Power Whip, Shadow Claw, and Heavy Slam, you'll get stabbed from that because the ability Steelworker makes Heavy Slam a stab move. So you are dealing more damage again. It does make it trickier to deal with a Mega Charizard Y because you haven't got the Rock Slide, but as we'll see in the calculations, everything. So let's just look at Charizard and how it deals with Mega Charizard Y. So as we see here, Never Ending Nightmare, it does a max of 83%, and Heat Wave, even out of Sun, is a definite KO. So in that respect, you really want another Pokemon to be dealing with Mega Charizard Y, because Never Ending Nightmare is just not going to be enough. So if you're running the Z Crystal, you just got to be aware you are weaker to Mega Charizard Y because you haven't got a solid answer of dealing with it with Dhelmise alone. Right. If we look at, say, Specs Lele now, this is what we're seeing. Moonblast is still not good enough for one hit KO even with Specs. It does max 88.5. But likewise, Power Whip doesn't get the KO here against Specs. So it's not as strong, like damage wise. However, if you're running Grassium Z, then it will get the KO. So it might just be sacrificing your Z move just to get rid of the Feeny, just in case like it threatens something in the back or something, or you feel like you're not going to get another turn out with Dhelmise to go for a Power and then say a more accurate Shadow Claw or Heavy Slam to take it out. So you might just want to pop your Z move using the Bloom Doom to deal with that. Now let's look at Cresselia. Let's look at a defensive set. Never Ending Nightmare does around 50%, so like it's not going to be doing that much. If we get rid of the defensive qualities of this Cresselia, we can see it's still not getting the KO. So it's still not great. Like it deals with Cresselia offensively better than the Assault Vest set, but like you could get a Never Ending Nightmare off and then a Shadow Claw, which takes it out. But because Ice Beam, that's a guaranteed free hit KO, so you do have time to do that if nothing else is targeting down your Dhelmise. So that is an option. And Pelipper is a Pokemon that this set you don't really want to be like facing off against, because Hurricane's a definite one hit KO, and in retaliation, Never Ending Nightmare doesn't deal with it, and Bloom Doom, that only has a 31% chance of one hit KOing. So you don't really want to be playing with a mindset that you could get the 1 in 3 chance of knocking it out, because Hurricane will be a definite knockout. So you just got to think about the Pokemon you're up against, and you just got to know what gets the knockout and what doesn't. It's all about which Z Crystal you're going to want to be running. So the Ghostium Z is an option because it gives you that stronger physical ghost move with the Never Ending Nightmare, but the base power of the Power Whip into Bloom Doom, that's just going to give you a better nuke. So I think Regressium Z works better than Ghostium Z, in my opinion, that is. Okay, this is another set, the Choice Band, with removes Power Whip, Shadow Claw, Heavy Slam, and Rock Slide, just like Assault Vest, because you have to give up the Protect slot. So you get this Rock Slide back, so you can be facing up against Mega Charizard Y, Zapdos, and Salamence better again. It has the same EVs as the Z Crystal set, because the 92 HP and 164 is your base defensive EVs, because the Assault Vest set has different defensive EVs, because you also have a defensive amplifier in the Assault Vest item. However, here you don't have that, so you want to be using the same base defensive EVs. It's also brave, of course, to minimize speed, maximize attack. So with 252 EVs in attack plus Choice Band, you're going to be getting the KOs that you normally wouldn't have got before. So let's just look. Let's look at Coco. I'm looking at the VGC18 set because it's not absurd to see 252 EVs in a special attack and 252 in speed in VGC18. You see that a lot still. Okay, so here, look, the Choice Band, Power and Heavy Slam do knock it out. I would advise using the Heavy Slam on it because there's no accuracy chances. So Heavy Slam is 100% accurate, whereas Power Whip isn't. And it all depends what they have in the back. If Heavy Slam doesn't look good for the switch, then go for the Power Whip, of course. But look, if we get rid of the Choice Band, we see that they only have a 31% chance of knocking out the Coco. With the Choice Band, you definitely get that knockout. Okay, so yeah, so that's why it's good. Also, let's look at Zapdos. Here we can see Rock Slide now becomes a 2-hit KO. Likewise, so does Heat Wave. But if you've got your Trick Room up, then you know you're gonna be moving first to take out the Zapdos. Plus, like, if you're gonna be moving first, then you also have the flinch chance. So it takes away the risk of getting burned if you get the flinch from Heat Wave. So that's also pretty good. Let's also look at the Landorus Ferian. The knockout once again doesn't get the knockout, and likewise Dhelmise still doesn't get the 1-hit KO of anything. However, like, we see it's doing a lot more damage. So if you double into that Landorus slot again, then you're almost sure to knock it out if it doesn't switch or protect or anything, which is good. So once again, let's look at Pelipper. Look, now we see that Power Whip is getting the knockout, and say it's not running Focus Sash, it's like Damp Rock or something, then if you get your Trick Room up, then you can just Power Whip into that and just get rid of it, which is, it's phenomenal, right? Getting rid of a Pelipper when using a Dhelmise, because when you're not Choice Banded, it just makes things hard. Okay, now let's look at the teammates to run with Dhelmise. I like Porygon 2 because of its typing and its tanky ability. Like, as it's so tanky, you're almost sure to get your Trick Room up. So which is necessary for Dhelmise. You need to get your Trick Room up to use Dhelmise properly. So yeah, Dhelmise can learn Ally Switch. So if you give your Dhelmise Ally Switch, that helps counter the Aegislash, because normally Aegislash carry the Ghostium Z. So what you do, say you think they're using a Ghostium Z into your Dhelmise, you Ally Switch, set up Trick Room Porygon 2, so he wastes his Z move on the Porygon 2 with no effect, and you get your Trick Room up, and then Dhelmise now is quicker than Aegislash because of a Trick Room. You can then return fire with a Shadow Claw, but if you're protecting with King Shield, then of course, just think about what you're doing, but I think that's a way to counter it. Also, say they have a Mega Charizard Y and you're not running Rock Slide, if you have the special attack bonus, the Thunderbolt puts pressure on the Mega Charizard Y to switch out or something. So, and also if you're not running Rock Slide, turn 1 you can protect, Heat Wave won't be doing much to Porygon 2, so you can Thunderbolt, and then next turn you can Thunderbolt again and take it out, and then you can be attacking with Dhelmise as well. So I think I like that. And also KO's Landorus, and as we saw, Dhelmise can't get the 1-hit knockout. So Porygon 2 can with the Ice Beam unless it's an Assault Vest Landorus. And also the normal type and the ghost type, they're good switches for each other. Dhelmise is a good switch in for the Porygon 2, as they could launch a strong fighting move into it, so you just bring in the Dhelmise, and likewise Dhelmise can switch into Porygon 2 to avoid the ghost type damage. Another good teammate is Cresselia, because it's once again a really bulky Trick Room setter, so you want to get your Trick Room off, but also it has Helping Hand. And as we saw, non-choice man Dhelmise struggles to get the one-hit KOs, but with Helping Hand, it just picks up that extra damage, which makes it really good. What also is an option, like I said before, with a Rain team, you can run Politoed, Helping Hand, because Politoed also has that speed where it can be used under Trick Room, and also with Helping Hand, it helps get those knockouts and reduces the fire damage on Dhelmise, so that's also a combination you can use. And finally, Landorus T. Dhelmise struggles against Heatran, so Landorus Therian's here to get the Earthquake off to deal with that. And also, if you're not running Rock Slide on Dhelmise, then you have the Rock Slide on Landorus, so you can just get rid of, if you're running like Scarf Landorus, which you don't always do if you're running a Trick Room team, but just say you are, then you can get the quick Rock Slide off of Mega Charizard and just get that out of the way, and then Dhelmise can just have a fun game, really. So yeah, that's it. It's just used to like deal with Heatran mainly, but that's just what Dhelmise struggles with most. And also Dhelmise just soaks up Earthquake damage because of its Grass type. So if you need to use the Earthquake and you can't get the Protect off, or you're not running Protect, then it's not going to be doing too much to you. So you're in a pretty good position still. So yeah, that's my guide to Dhelmise in VGC18. I think Dhelmise is overlooked a bit too much. Just it didn't get much attention in VGC17, and I'm a bit sad that it won't get that in VGC18. But I just want to show that it is useful. It is a Pokemon that has strong offense. It can be used on a lot of Trick Room teams, mainly Trick Room. Like, it is a Trick Room Pokemon just because of its speed and strong offense. So yeah, I wanted to get more attention and just be used more, just because I think it's a really great Pokemon. It's a really fun Pokemon as well. It's just really enjoyable and fun. So yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.